a jaga jaga. Everything's scatter. Come on, they suffer.
Anyone who knows not where the rain starts to beat him will never know where it stopped. The Nigeria 1999 Constitution is the poison pill killing Nigerians every day, bit by bit. Because inside this Nigeria 1999 Constitution, there are 68 federal exclusive items holding the key to our development and progress in Nigeria. And the Fulani-led federal government has deliberately denied Nigerians progress via the power of that 1999 Constitution. For instance, in the 68 items on that exclusive list, the federal government holds the exclusive right to provide the people with quality electricity, water, good roads, good health care, and schools. But in all of this, I'm sure you'll agree with me that the federal government has woefully failed us. Taking down that evil book of Lucifer is the key to our development and progress. It is either we turn off the tap from which the polluted water of bad governance runs, or we continue to mope in silence forever. Taking down the 1999 Constitution is a task that must be done. So come on, join hands now with the Alliance Partners for the Movement of a New Nigeria, MNN, to kill the Nigerian 1999 Constitution.
Everything's scatter. Come on, they suffer.
This message is brought to you by the Voice of Liberty International.
Why you must go? Why you must go?
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon, good anytime you are. I don't know what time you are, where you are, whichever part of the world you are. A very, very good day to you guys. I promised you last night that I would be back this morning. Yes, it might look very early. It might look that like I'm still half asleep. But when there's a business to do, there's a business to do. When there's a problem to solve, there's a business to solve. You can't keep lying in bed when your native land is on fire. So wherever you are, maybe good morning, maybe good afternoon, maybe good evening. Maybe you are even in the middle of the night. Come on, wake up. Wake everybody up, call everybody around the table, around the television rather, and let us watch this today's sermon together, today's lecture together, because I'm sure there's so much to take home from today's activity. And from today's one, there's so much. And when I mean so much, there's so much to pick up from, there's so much to learn from, because we're going to pick up where we left it on Tuesday. And where did we left it on Tuesday? We spoke about bringing down the practical solution to bringing out this constitution, what we need to do, and so many people, the question they were asking is how, what is next, what do we need to do, where do we need to turn to, where do we need to go to. We don't want you asking that question any longer, so we have decided to bring everything back, so that I will first of all remind you what was said last week a little bit, maybe for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Then I'll go to practical solution with Tony and Nandi. What you need to do, what I need to do. Yes, you. Who are you looking? Why are you looking back? You. Yes, what you need to do. What every one of us needs to do. Like you said yesterday, if a man find a snake and a woman kill it, it doesn't matter. As long as the snake is dead. It doesn't matter who bring this down, as long as we bring it down. So practical solution to bring it down. It doesn't matter when you start. You can start yesterday and bring it down. You can start 20 years ago and still going and bring it down. You cannot even start and lastminute.com, you come and bring it down. You know the thieves on the two sides of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, they were on the cross and one get his salvation right at the point of death. So you never can tell. So today, let's go back, memory lane a little bit, to what was said last week, what we went through, what was said on Tuesday, so that in case you miss it, I'm just going to show you a preview of it. Please do me a big favor. Don't just watch this one. Go back to last Tuesday's broadcast, watch it in full. You will learn a lot. If you're new to this station, please, if you're new to any of the station you're watching this program from, please like that very platform. Like that very platform you're watching it from, because this is available everywhere, not just here, but everywhere that is practical for us to put it. That is where we're putting it. This program is for Yoruba people, not for Heritage Television. But mind you, we need to get our freedom. We need to get it. I'm not going to bore you with speech today. I'm not going to waste your time today. I just want us to go straight to the point, straight to where we can find solution and find practical solution. So come with me. Let's watch this video and then we take it from there. Thank you. See you in a bit.
You'll be able to whisper to them to say, don't you see you have this, you have that, when others don't have. Relax. They would then admit them in some way. That was the plan. But the people they handed over to in 1960 didn't do anything. When did Isaac Boro arise? Was it not 6 years down the road that they declared Niger Delta Republic from the same disputations that have now brought about Ment and the Avenger? Was it any different? They didn't keep that. The other part, who is from the Middle Belt here? The killings that are going on in the place. If you look at this north now, it hasn't changed. These boundaries you see here have not changed. That north that begins from here, this is about Gakem area, to Meduguri and Sokoto there. The portion in green, these 12 states that passed Sharia the other day officially. The balance, the one in purple, was where Ahmadu Bello wanted Sharia for the northern region, going into independence. That's when the British go away, it will be Sharia for his region. The other people, Joseph Tucker and all the ones from the Middle Belt, say, no, our people are not Muslims and we can't be part of one region if Sharia will be in place. They had to find common ground because they wanted a Middle Belt region. They fought, they were being put down. The British settled it this way. They removed Sharia from the table and brought what they called penal code, so that those who are Christians can function freely, uninhibited in that. And that was the condition upon which the Middle Belt became part of northern region of Nigeria. Therefore, From the day in year 2000 that those 12 states, the portion in green in your map, from the day in year 2000 that those 12 states simultaneously imposed Sharia in their contiguous territory, they had moved away from that foundational agreement. They have seceded from the Union of Nigeria. They have seceded from the secular Federation of Nigeria. Having so seceded, they reinforce, they are now coming to overrun the rest of the place. And why do they have to resort to that? The constitutional instruments they put in place, including the one the British helped them to put in place since 1914 to 1922 to 1946. I'm sure you heard about Macpherson and Littleton, all the way to independence. That became 63, which collapsed in 66. I'm now landing in the one that is on the table. And what we must do, which if we don't do, we will pay in blood. If we don't do, we will pay in blood. It doesn't matter what the noise elsewhere is. When it came for the British to go, and they were asking those territories they had governed for over 70 years at the time, how do you guys continue when we go? They had governed them as 3 different countries. Nobody knew what they were doing in the north. Nobody knew what they were doing in the east or in the west. Gradually, the meetings that began to bring them together started happening towards the 50s. By the time we came to 53, Enohoro moved the motion for independence because they thought they had come to where they could become independent. Somebody, the northern delegates opposed it and defeated it. What was their reason? They said, oh, we cannot go from British colonialism, that we're backward. We're not yet in a position to compete with you. So if we go to independence now, the British will step away, you step into their shoes, then we remain where we are. You can go your own. The British wanted, the British didn't tell anybody why they wanted the Union to be. Remember that before then, Ahmadu Bello had cause to lament that this was the mistake of 1914, that Nigeria was a mistake of 1914. And not long after, Awolowo also had reason to say that this geographical expression. No, the ones who were building Nigeria did not believe in it up till that point. At what point did it now become something that has become non-negotiable, sacrosanct, indivisible? Because they've managed to impose, constitutional models away from what was agreed. Because by the time they were getting ready, they had to make themselves constitutions, as like you have Germany and France and Portugal going into European Union. All the negotiations of what they would do for themselves and what they will allow the European Union authorities to do for them. The federal government is supposed to be a union office for independent units. And that was how they came. Yes, that's how they came to where they became one country, to have accepted that level of autonomy. And it was Ahmadu Bello that made that demand. In all, by 1966, the 5 constitutions that defined the federation, the coup came, those constitutions were toppled. All those who are talking about restructuring and how it will happen, those constitutions that were toppled defined the Federation of Nigeria. From the moment they were toppled, the Federation of Nigeria ceased to be. The country was still in place. And a rogue federal government emerged. Elements who, wearing the garment of that Nigeria that had died, began to run riot, seizing the assets of all the federating units, which were contributing only 15% of their income, as they agreed, for the upkeep of the center. The center didn't own anything. So we came from being a federation into this unitarianism. And by the time they were going to hand over in 1979, they had found a way to also work out something that became a constitution that was not discussed. And it was that constitution that was not discussed, in which they had created all kinds of structures from the 4 regions they met that were on ground in 1966, We have now 36 states created by decree. So a new majority has emerged. Each of the states have 3 senators at the place. So, 4 local government areas in which Kano alone has 44. And Lagos that had the same 20 local governments with them at the beginning is still keeping 20, whereas Kano had been broken into Kano and Jigawa. Between the two of them, they have 71 local government areas. What are they bringing to the treasury? Nothing. All the money Nigeria has to spend is between the oil money, the port money, and the VAT that is raised here. These people who bring nothing take 72% as of right in the place of sharing. And they're the ones who decide what other people will get, who they give more, who they give less. And in all of this, democracy, let me just refer to the documents you have in one of the documents, you see where we try to define democracy, that we do not have a democracy because democracy is government of the people, by the people, for the people. In those three legs of definition, government of the people means that you, in exercise of your right to your sovereign right, decide the supreme laws of the land. The constitution we have on the table today did not come from that process. And so we have not decided whether we will live together or how we will live. The second leg is of the people, meaning that only your vote can send people to government house. And when they get to government house, they can only function according to that constitution you already made. Do we have that? No. The third leg, for the people, meaning that those who wield government powers must do so not only in accordance with what was put in place in the constitution, but for your benefit. The reason we don't have the things that should have been coming to you as citizens is that you have not written the script of what should happen. And so you have in this constitution provisions that exclude responsibility towards you. Section 6, subsection 6C of your constitution absolves government of all responsibilities towards you. They don't owe you any school, they don't owe you any hospital, they don't owe you anything. Anything they do, they are doing out of the milk of human kindness. That is one. You have appropriation provisions. Section 81, section 82 hands over the keys to the treasury to the president. Section 121, 122 hands over the keys to the treasury to the governors. So they don't owe you any obligation. They have the spare key to the treasury. They have immunity in section 308. At what point are you going to get anything from them? How did you come about that constitution? By imposition. And what all the cry and demand for repairing this place goes to is to say, let us accept we have departed from the foundation of being a federation. Because if we were a federation, Lagos Port would belong to Lagos, oil and gas of Niger Delta would belong to them. The middle belt, where killings are going on unabated, unchallenged, will have the right to defend themselves because they will have guns. The constitution has 68 items on the exclusive list, all written by decree, that make it impossible for the middle belt to touch any gun. You saw where the governors went crying, and the president said, go home and live in peace with your Fulani of Benin. If we do not remove that from that constitution, nothing will resolve that question. As it is for those killings, so it is for electricity. I cannot generate electricity because it's on the exclusive list. Lagos has 40 million people. It cannot generate electricity. Imagine the day comes that California cannot generate electricity and have to wait for Maine to come and give them electricity. They will leave the union. Imagine the day that Texas is no longer in control of its oil fields. Would they remain in the union for 24 hours? And it's supposed to be a federation. What is a federation? So we're in a fraud now in which the federation that collapsed is being sustained by brigandage, and they have imposed a constitution that we can no longer question. And anybody who says, what are you doing? What was Abiola's offense? Do you know why Abiola was killed? The servant does not rule over his master. So it's not only Jonathan that had to be chased away because he wasn't one of those who could preside. These same people are doing the killings in the middle belt, doing the killings in the east, doing the killings in the west. They are the ones who seized everybody's asset. They are the ones who imposed this constitution. And you join them to go to elections. under that constitution. By what constitution would they govern? Anybody who wins in this election, by what constitution is he going to govern? You are reinforcing your enslavement. And if they kill you in the process, it's your ignorance that killed you. We've been going all over the place trying to tell people that this is what is the case. They are not listening. We went to the men of God in the land, without exception, quietly. Sir, here's the problem. If Desmond Tutu did not join Mandela in South Africa, would you not still be in apartheid now? Where are all men of God? If not for people like this who say, look, enough of this thing being said in quiet places. There's nothing I've said here that I've not said on national television. There's nothing I've said here that I've not said to the faces of those who have been governing Nigeria with this illicit decree. They are committing treason against the rest of us. They are committing treason against the rest of us because they put our signature on the document that sees our assets, that sees our lives. And we say, we have tolerated this document for 20 years, since 1999. We will not tolerate it any further. All of you, by the time they finish the election, less than 1,500 people will be sworn in as the ones who have won in the election. 180 million people are in danger. And they have managed to get you to come be on one side or the other. Put your mind the day after the election. The people who win will have to swear to defend and uphold your enslavement. The summary of what we are telling our people now is that processes had been undertaken. The majority, the whole of the South and the Middle Belt, have been told and shown what the problem is. That constitution must go down. Those who are going to contest under it are doing so for their intestines, not on your behalf, whatever they say. If you do not wake up and go to what will work for you, you are not only going to remain in your situation, they will come to where they turn up at your doorstep with their AK-47 on their mission to conquer. Let us leave it there.
Wow, wow, wow. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is every problem that we have. That is every issue that we've been discussing. And I'm waiting for my guest to turn up this morning. Tony Nandi, if you are watching the program, please abandon watching the program and come in through my door so that I can see you. It was a very educative program, but to make things better for you and me, you need to actually go back and watch it. Tony is actually watching, so that's very good of him. I could hear his footsteps coming in through the door now. So as soon as he finishes signing in, he should be able to come in. I want to say a very good morning to everyone watching, and if you're joining the program for the first time, please share it with your loved one. Don't only share it as well, please like it. Please like it wherever you're watching it. It doesn't matter which platform you're watching it from. It's all our program. It's all Odudua, South, Middle Belt People's program. So please, you need to please like it and share it. And to be conversant with what we're discussing here, please subscribe to the channel you're watching it from, because they will always bring out new materials that will be very, very educative to you and that will open your eyes. Yesterday we have a very big, great section. And you know what? I have some few responses, right? The APARTHEID renewal group, they contact last night. They want to come and state their own case because they said that communique we were talking about yesterday was not from them. The communique was talking about 2023 election, that Yoruba should produce presidents. Who care about 2023? Who want to govern Nigeria? Who want to rule Nigeria? I don't think I want to be part of that. And I'm sure a lot of you don't want to be part of that as well. Is anybody at the reception? Please let Tony in quickly so that we can continue doing what we're doing. So without much to do, there's so many things we need to understand. If you're doing your part, I'm doing your part, Janet is doing a part. Obi is doing his part. Adelaja is doing a part. Emmanuel is doing a part. Aisha is doing a part. And every one of us are doing our parts. It won't be long. And one part you need to do is to share this program. You know the petition we're talking about. We've been talking about it for some time. We've been talking about it for some time now. We need to drive it. If we show my brother's film without asking him for permission to show it, it will be a big issue. But I will try and speak to him in the next few days. You know, anything you suggest, I'll always take it on board and try and work on it. So I will try and speak to the gentleman concerned and see what he says, and then we will take it from there. Please do me a favor, share this program. Share the program. The Nollywood actors are joining bit by bit because they're now going back to some history. They're using their film to communicate. One of those films that they're using to communicate is the Moremi film. Some people do talk about constitution in the film. I recently have a little bit of glaring art when my wife was actually watching it. So, for the benefit of those people who are not online, it is very, very important that we share the program. Not only share, subscribe to the channel. Because I'm watching on YouTube now, there's not a lot of people there. Yes, there's quite some few people there, but the amount of like is not encouraging. Because if you don't like it, how will YouTube and Facebook decide to show it to more people? Because when you like it, they see it as something that people enjoy, so they show it to more people. So the more you like, the more people will see it. The more people will see it. So I'm begging you, ladies and gentlemen, please try your best for me. Let's try and get this one as far as it can go. Tony is number 3. Let me see if I have number 3 online. Okay. I don't know why they're not letting him in. It's disconnecting. It's connecting, disconnecting, connecting, disconnecting. I might probably be forced to send him another one in case this is not working. I'm trying to bring him. I normally get him seated before we start, but today we want to do something different. We want to try another way, and this is proving a little bit difficult, but that shouldn't be a major issue. Technology fails sometimes, but it's not a problem. Okay, so what we're talking about is that everybody needs to do their part while we'll settle the matter. So in the meantime, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go for a short break. And while I go and let Tony in from the main door. See you in a bit. Thank you.
Nigeria, jaga, everything scatter. Nigeria, jaga, everything scatter. Come on, they suffer.
Anyone who knows not where the rain starts to beat him will never know where it stopped. The Nigeria 1999 Constitution is the poison pill killing Nigerians every day, bit by bit. Because inside this Nigeria 1999 Constitution, there are 68 federal exclusive items holding the key to our development and progress in Nigeria. And the Fulani-led federal government has deliberately denied Nigerians progress via the power of that 1999 Constitution. For instance, in the 68 items on that exclusive list, the federal government holds the exclusive right to provide the people with quality electricity, water, good roads, good health care, and schools. But in all of this, I'm sure you'll agree with me that the federal government has woefully failed us. Taking down that evil book of Lucifer is the key to our development and progress. It is either we turn off the tap from which the polluted water of bad governance runs, or we continue to mope in silence forever. taking down the 1999 Constitution is a task that must be done. So come on, join hands now with the Alliance Partners for the Movement of a New Nigeria, MNN, to kill the Nigerian 1999 Constitution.
Nigeria jaga jaga, everything scatter scatter. Come on, they suffer. Bossa.
This message is brought to you by the Voice of Liberty International.
Why you must go? Why you must go?
Wow. I want to thank everybody. The petition has actually been pinned to the Facebook one. I'm going to try and pin it to YouTube in a minute. Please, my brother, my sister, my fellow Southerner, please try your possible best. Sign that petition. And when you finish signing the petition, please remember to go to your email address to actually authorize it. Technology seems to want to fail this morning, but no matter what it does, we will get today's sermon. We will definitely get to today's sermon anyway. Nothing is going to stop us. There's no stopping us. I can assure every man and woman on the program today that nothing will stop this broadcast today, because we will make sure it happens. There's so many graphics, there's so many things that we would like to show you and offer you as a way of educating us all together one by one. The issue is that the thing is refusing to connect, but that's not going to be the end of the world, because we're going to try our best. No matter what it takes, we will definitely get there. I'm going to try and pin the petition on YouTube, because I know there's more people on YouTube than Facebook. So I'm just looking for the link. Okay, found. The link has been found. While we're waiting for Tony, he's trying to send me a message. Yeah, while we're waiting for Tony, there's something I want to chip in for you guys quickly. The lady that the hotel was demolished in Kaduna, that the Tiger sex party, we will have them in the house about 5 o'clock this evening, so that we can talk about it all. It wasn't sex party. There's no sex party that took place there. It was just a political rivalry, because the gentleman that holds the hotel, the lounge, is actually probably in quote, the PDP spokesman for that state, and they were trying to take revenge on him. Everything is getting put in the open here, and we'll get there, try to connect, and still receiving the same message, unable to connect. Should we go on WhatsApp voice? Yes, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go on WhatsApp call with Tony this morning, because we couldn't connect to Tony. So let me try and bring Tony in by WhatsApp. You will not see him, but at least you will hear his voice, so that we can get to what we want to get to this morning. Tony, not sure if I've saved his number on this phone, but I will quickly do that. That shouldn't be a problem. I'm sorry for this, guys. So his number is not on that phone. Okay, he wants me to try more. He wants to. You see, this guy is very, very hard working. What I'll do, let's do it this way. I'm gonna send him another link. Reset, copy. Okay. Please. Okay, fingers crossed. He should be able to get in through the door in a minute. Oh, fantastic. It's actually sending. Please sign this. So the lady will be coming here this evening, where we can talk about exactly what happened and what happened over there. Oh, Lolly Tune advert, yeah. The best thing I want you to do for me this morning is to share this program, because if you don't share it, it's not gonna be very, very nice for us. Let me just acknowledge some of these people here, because I cannot believe these people are awake again. They saw what I'm saying for the first time. She Adisui, yeah, that looks new. James, thank you for joining. Tony, thank you for joining again. You went to bed late last night. You must be fighting for this other doer a lot. Emmanuel, thank you. I've seen some names that I don't want to call this morning. Yesterday, Bakoju, thank you for joining. Young DJ, thank you for joining. Mohammed Shell, thank you for joining. David Adegoke, good morning again. Welcome to the Wasiu. That's your second day in a row, I think. That's your second day in a row. Good morning, sir. Ayemo Juba. Book of Redemption, thank you very much for joining. Oladeji Kudus, thank you, sir, for joining. I really appreciate you. Kwale Shita, I'm sure that's Shita Bay. If I'm right, if I'm wrong, please pardon me and slap me a little bit on your screen. But make sure you don't use an hammer, so that we don't break the screen of the phone. Idris Obidari, thank you for joining as well. Okay, and then on Facebook, I know someone that I've seen, Esther Adito, Ewe Chuga, JP, thank you for all your comments. Enoma, thank you for joining. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate everybody joining on that platform today. I know a lot of people are at work currently. Angela, thank you for joining and sharing that. make sure you sign this petition as well. I said every petition that needs to be signed needs to be signed. Shola Adekola, thank you for joining, and thank you for your comment. Please join and share with your family and friend. So let's go back to what we're talking about. Okay, let's go back. Sometimes I might take a pause because I want to make sure I don't ignore you guys, because without you, this is not gonna keep going. It's going on because you are there. If you're not there, it will never go on. I want you to be rest assured. I'm not one of those people that 2 people will be watching or 5 people will be watching and I'll just be blasting off. No, I don't do that. If it's not encouraging, what's the point in doing it? You know, liberation from apartheid Nigeria, practical action, the action that needs to be taken. We don't want to wait for the 90 days. Can I tell you one thing? Nigeria is broke. They can't borrow money from anybody outside Nigeria anymore. You know what they want to do? They want to go and raid all their accounts, all the dormant accounts and the share accounts that are dormant. They want to go and raid it. If they raid it, when will they pay it back? Join me at 8 o'clock this evening again on that program. It's a full day program today, so join me at 8 o'clock tonight on that one, when I plan to have 3 bankers, one from Nigeria, one from the UK, one from America, and then a site commentator, either Dr. Kwasi Olatibosun or Fatai Gurubido, who's going to be with me on the program tonight. And then we're going to be talking about these people that want to go and raid your account. It's your account, it's your money. You can keep your money there and leave it there. Why do they want to borrow it? You know what? Because they can't afford to borrow from outside anymore. Since all these things wrangling have been going on, nobody wants to put their money into Nigerian government's hand anymore, because they know they might not get it back. So what the Nigerian government is now trying to do is to go and raid your money that is in your bank account or somewhere that you haven't touched for some time. And you know what? If they take it, when will they pay it back? When will they pay it back? If you have a dormant account and there's something you can do about it urgently, please do so. I'm still drinking my coffee. Anyway. It's proving a little bit of challenge for Tony this morning, which is very, very unusual. Coming in has never been this difficult before, because we always do it before anybody can truncate it. But today we started that trying to do that late, and it's posting a challenge. I think it's trying to come in again now. Sister Toyin, Ewituga, thank you. Queen School, remember those days in Queen School? Yeah. So people are just surprised that I know so much about them, and they don't even have a clue that I know so much about them. And there's been a breaking news. There's been a breaking news. The veteran actress, Orisha Bume's brother, has died at the age of 48 as well. If you remember, Orisha Bume died a couple of days ago, about 4 days ago. And the brother has actually died as well now, 48 hours just after death. May their soul rest in peace. We need to check so many things. We need to check what is happening there, because something is not right. There's something not right at all there. Mr. Tony, please use Google Chrome. If you're there, use Google Chrome. Don't lose your identity. No matter what you do, don't lose your culture. Women, behave yourself. Don't take your children away from their father because he wants to use it to spite the man, because it can come back to come and hurt the child. It's been happening everywhere, every time. It happens a lot, especially in England, in America, in Europe, in the diaspora. It happens a lot. And fathers, behave yourself, so that you don't get in trouble with this DNA issue. Remember Abiola and this lady in London that has 3 kids for Abiola, and find out that only the middle one belongs to Abiola. The first one and the second one belongs to a living lover of this of this woman. So, fathers, behave yourself. Be careful. Be very, very careful about what is going on there. Just trying to preview on some of the happenings in the media world today. But that is not what we're discussing. We're discussing liberating from apartheid Nigeria. Nigeria is an apartheid situation where all animals are not equal. One man is born to rule. One man is senior to the other one. Oh, God of mercy. Okay, I think I'm getting a little bit fed up with our system in Nigeria now, because it doesn't seem it's gonna go through. So let me start making some few preparation. What we're talking about is the apartheid Nigeria. And can I remind you of this program coming up on the 15th of January, which is next week Friday? It will be shown on Heritage Television. It's a conference between the Igbos and the Yoruba people, and the conference will be hosted by Fatherland Group, and one of the convener, lawyer Dele Ogun, will be on. Was on our show a couple of days ago. I'm sure it's still going to be there here before that Friday to talk about so many other things. Somebody tried to call me at 4 o'clock this morning. Wow. When I went to bed at 2 o'clock. So why someone tried to call at 4 o'clock again? But that's not a problem. That is what we need to do when we need to do this. There's so many things happening in the whole wide world now. 234-801-056. That's the number to call. So, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we have to do this by WhatsApp call this morning because this is not working for us. And if WhatsApp call didn't work well, we will do a direct call as well, because we need to get to the bottom of this today, and nothing is going to stop us. Nothing, absolutely nothing will stop us from getting our lectures and communicate this morning. So, Mr. Tony, are you ready for me? WhatsApp call coming your way now, sir. Okay, we're there now. What was that?
Hello.
Hello, sir. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
The thing is not, we're not having a joy this morning, innit?
I don't know what the matter is. I've tried a couple of times to connect. It's not connecting. I don't know why. Showing all kinds of.
I'm surprised. Someone sent me a message to say indicating us had disconnected me. What was that? Is that you?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the number to call you on?
Yeah, you could call on on either of them. You can call on the one.
Can we continue on this one? Can we continue on this one?
No, we can continue on this one if they can hear me.
Okay, they can hear you. Okay, so what we've done so far, Mr. T, is that we've gone through the scenario in which we went through what happened in the last episode that we had on Tuesday. We show part of the clips. I'm sure you are on that.
Yeah, I was watching.
Okay, I thought as much.
Yeah, I was watching.
So the problem is, the situation of things is that people are asking us, what is next? What is the next action? And you seem to be the man with the master plan. Where do we go from here?
Right. Welcome, viewers. Sorry, we can't see our faces because of connectivity and connection. Yes, what we did last week was to get to the background of the constitutional force majeure action activated on the 16th of December in 2020 by the Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance for Self-Determination, NINAS. And the video in which we were looking at the foundational problems, how the constitutional trap we are in now came through, how it came from the British and the Caliphate venture and joint venture that became Nigeria in 1914. We traced step by step how that joint venture validated itself reinforced itself and became the constitution we must now obey. We then went on to say, in order to escape from that entrapment that has become an existential threat for all the nationalities, Yoruba is as threatened as Ijaw, as Igbo, as Idoma, as Tiv, by the same people. Using the instrumentality of that constitution they imposed against the will of everybody, backing themselves up by the force of guns, the force of weapons that they monopolize through that same constitution. And we say, to the extent that our signature was put on the document that enabled them, we're in a position to pull back that signature right now. And that's what took us the last 20 years to organize how we come to taking that self-redemption action together, all of us who are threatened. So we started by having everybody come to meet. That was how Pronaco came. Say, look, all the nationalities, forget what happened before. Let us go sit down now to see whether we can rework our union. It was after we had finished with Pronaco that those who wanted to go to a separate civilization continued to advance their Sharia, which they introduced in year 2000 in 12 contiguous states. And therefore, they had drawn a line on the question of whether we're able to live together. And it is on account of that, the Sharia that makes the union impossible stems from the fact that adherents of Sharia owe it a duty of faith to kill the infidel. And so all of what we see, whether they call themselves Fulani Hesman or they call themselves Boko Haram or Bandit, whatever name they assume, I'm sure some of us have listened to the hearing going on in Washington concerning Nigeria now. They are on an ethnic cleansing mission to kill off everybody from this space and relocate the Fulani from all over Africa into the spaces, become the Fulani country, and carry on dealing with the rest of the world as if we're still there. That's what's going on. And that constitution of 1999 is what has enabled them. And it is our signature that is validating that constitution. The action we have to take now, everybody asking what next, how do we do? The action we have to take now is the process of withdrawing our signature from that constitution, withdrawing our imposed, our fraudulently fraudulently imputed consent. That claim that we, the people, solemnly resolve to live in the Union of Nigeria in the manner described by this constitution is what we are challenging now. And that challenge is coming by way of the activation of our right to self-determination. The UN instrument that provides the relief we seek right now revolves around our right to self-determination. And the summary of it is that in our ancestral space, as indigenous nationalities, we are entitled to be there by ourselves. Yoruba will be entitled to be in their space and to relate with whoever they choose to relate on their own volition. Ijaw the same, Ogoni the same. So the processes we have undertaken in the last 20 years was to get everybody to organize themselves ahead of this time that we will exercise that right, so that we don't go from Nigeria to Somalia because we're trying to run away from Fulani. And so everybody has their instruments ready. Everybody has talked to their own people as to what the problem is, because a lot of people thought it was corruption, a lot of people thought security, let's go and buy more gun for police. No, all of those things are wrong. What is going on is that some people have determined to become the owners of your land, in addition to having seized all the lands and all our rights by the instrumentalities of that. They're no longer satisfied being in charge of our lives. They now want to eliminate us and make Nigeria the homeland for Fulani from all over Africa. And so, what are we doing now? What are we going to do? What is within our reach to do to conclude this redemption, self-redemption? As a majority, I can see. Let me get on there so I can see what you're doing. If you bring the map of, please put on display that Nina's map, the map that is in yellow and white, so that our people can understand exactly where we're headed with this. Now, if we get on that map, we will immediately see that the majority we're talking about here, the alliance we're talking about here, is the alliance of the South and the whole of the Middle Belt. The South and the whole of the Middle Belt. And we if we're looking at that map, we could see that it is in a three-way formation, in which there's the Yoruba bloc, there's the Middle Belt, there's the Lower Niger, which is the combination of the Southeast and South as Nigeria now calls them. Now, these three, having organized their internal cohesion, Yoruba has a charter, a constitution, a draft constitution as we speak. The eastern side, the Lower Niger, coming from the Solemn Assembly of 2015, are now also working out their charter of relationships just to finalize it, bringing together the Jodo, Ogoni, the Anang, the Efik, the Igbo, as nationalities each entitled to its own self-determination. The same thing is going on in the Middle Belt, the Tiv, the Berom, the Idoma, all of them in that whole stretch, under this stretch of extermination, have a charter of relationship being processed. The same Middle Belt region that Joseph Tucker wanted all the while, for the same reasons Joseph Tucker was pushing for it, that being not Muslims, being not Sharia adherents, that they cannot be in the same region, one northern region that will have Sharia according to the wish of Ahmadu Bello. And so these three blocks, being the majority now, and being the ones at the receiving end of that constitution that took away their rights, their sovereignty, their lives, are now saying by that constitutional force majeure, these three blocks had issued a 90-day notice declaring a sovereignty dispute with the Federation of Nigeria and making 5 demands that must be met within those 90 days, failing which they will reconsider their allegiance to that constitution of 99. And that reconsideration of allegiance simply means pulling back their signature, simply means activating their right to self-determination on a scale that will make anybody who comes to their space have to explain what they came to do, because the constitution by which everybody is admitted into everybody's space is what is now being disputed as a fraud, as a forgery. And this joint action is for everybody to take back their own space. If we cannot find common ground in which we can have a union of equal partnership, a union where life is held sacrosanct, a union in which all men are considered born equal, which has been rendered impossible by the Sharia belt, by the 12 states Sharia contiguity that now owe it a duty of faith to kill the rest of us, that now insists that all men are not born equal, according to, we had El-Rufai saying it the other day, that we cannot expect to be in equal partnership. They are feudalists. In their feudalist worldview, these are the reasons, in addition to the constitution that we are rejecting, these are the other underlying reasons which we have explained to the international stakeholders. Those who are wondering what ISIS is doing in our space, those who are wondering why Al-Qaeda is coming to join ISIS, those who are wondering in Washington why our government will not be leading the fight to push them out. Rather, things are happening to show that there's a level of collusion. Danjuma raised that charge in 2018, and now the hearing going on in Washington is one in which there are findings that have been made showing that the government of Nigeria under Muhammadu Buhari is either unwilling or unable to engage these invaders.
Or in collusion.
If as a Fulani,
or in collusion with them.
Fulani himself.
Yeah.
If as Fulani himself, we have Fulani marauders coming from all over the place. And we saw the governor of Bauchi State come to national TV to say to us that Fulani from all over Africa belong to Nigeria. And then we subsequently saw the president of Nigeria throw our borders open, compromising our sovereignty on a scale that has now made it a matter of life and death, urgent matter of life and death. Because as they come, we have seen what they've done in the places they overran. They wipe off the community, and the next thing, they plant their own people and move on to the next target. That's what's going on. And if the government, if the federal government, the illicit federal government that emerged since 1966, when our federation collapsed, if that illicit federal government, after 55 years, is not willing to come to table to discuss with the constituent components, the regional blocks whose sovereignties became hijacked since 1967 progressively, broken into 36 states, lame states, now groveling at the feet of that federal government. I'm saying I'm getting into all of this so that we can understand exactly the nature of the battlefield we are caught in. It is that sovereignty of the four federating regions of the time, the sovereignty of the four federating regions that were taken over by the illicit federal government, because you can't have a federal government in that sense of a federation. We still have a country, they were no longer a federation. We ceased to be a federation since those 5 constitutions that defined the union got toppled in the coups of 1966 and broken progressively into states that began with 12 in 1967 to 36 now. And all the assets belonging to those regions progressively taken over by the federal government. All the economic assets, whether it is the oil and gas of the Niger Delta, or the seaports of Lagos and elsewhere, Port Harcourt, or the bitumen of Ondo, the oil and gas of Ondo, the limestone of Benue, everything that you could consider economic assets were progressively taken by decree, one after the other. Then they imposed the Land Use Act that also gave them further access to the ones they've not really taken, as in the either minerals or something. Just you are the one to. At the time they were doing the Land Use Act, soldiers were in charge, and military administrators from the part that was overrunning us were the ones in charge of all the things that they were doing everywhere. So in all of that, by the instrumentality of force and law by way of decree, they took everything that belonged to everybody one after the other and finally collated it into what has become this 68-item exclusive list. And in the states they were creating, they have become a standing majority so that nobody can challenge them in the place of decision making. Every change you want, everything you want are adjusted. They're expecting that you have to come to that place where they have become majority in Abuja to come and beg them. Whereas if we were to be a federation, we'll be the ones deciding, because that's the basis of the whole union in the first place. The federating units are the owners of their assets. They are the ones who have to contribute for what the upkeep of the center and the limited responsibilities delegated to that center. These are all the things that have been changed. And now, what we are doing, what we have to do to reverse our situation, to save ourselves from extermination, is to raise this sovereignty question. Are we still in this union together? Because we cannot pretend we are still in this federation when the constitution that defines our relationship has been toppled by one side and decrees imposed, the last of which is decree number 24 of 1999, they labeled the 1999 constitution, with a claim that we submitted our lands and our rights into this union of death to be managed in this 36-state formation in which 68 items are put beyond our reach, seizing all our assets, even the right to defend ourselves from armed invaders we can see came from outside our country. The right to elect who will govern us, because there's an INEC still in Abuja, all of them coming from that exclusive list. Nothing will change with any of this, whether the security we have seen that has been more in breach, that is costing us life and blood. Nothing will change unless that constitution goes down. The oil and gas assets of Niger Delta, including Ondo, is detained on account of that exclusive list. Nothing will change unless that constitution goes down. The port of Lagos, half of which is allocated to Dangote, and the port of Port Harcourt, half of which was allocated to Atiku, Fulani people. Nothing will change. Nothing will bring back the ownership for those who are fighting for resource control and asking for regional autonomy. Everything that stands your way for that resource control or for that regional autonomy or for the outright independence that those who want to do a republic and Biafra Republic are talking about now, everything that stands your way is this constitution. And your signature is what is validating it, sustaining it. All you need to free yourself is to say and act on it that you didn't make this constitution, and therefore it can no longer be the basis of any business. And let us get this clear. No matter what our complaints are, including the corruption that we all see being celebrated all over the place, you can see the people who went to government house, whether as president or governor or senator, stealing the money. You are not able to do anything about it. There are provisions in black and white in that constitution that make it so. Under one of the provisions, they do not owe you any obligation, like you had in the video. Section 6, subsection 6C. Ask any lawyer, anybody who claims to be a lawyer, ask them whether it is not so, whether they owe you all of those beautiful things you see in chapter 2. Equal treatment, education, healthcare, security of life and welfare of citizens. All those things listed that are supposed to be the first duty of government towards you are expressly negated, expressly nullified by section 6, subsection 6C of your 1999 constitution. As long as that constitution is in place, the government does not owe you any obligation as citizen. Then you come to the question of how do they get to the money in the treasury to be able to take it like this? Express provisions, sections 81 and 82 of your constitution practically hand over the keys to the treasury to the president to take all the money in the place, pretending to be talking to National Assembly. But in actual fact, he does not need to talk to them in the manner all of you think. You think he requires their permission to spend money. No. Section 81 requires him to go and present a budget, some estimates. Section 82 grants him the license to operate, to run the government, spending money, subject to a certain dubious limitation that is so easy to evade. And therefore, knowing of that provision, they use money to get jumbo budgets, and then they stand on that as a benchmark to take all that is found in the treasury the year following. As it is for the president at the federal treasury, so it is for the governors under sections 121, 122. I want us to take note and ask the lawyers parading all over Nigeria, particularly the senior advocates and the professors of law, whether these things are not like that. Under those provisions, the heads of the executive branch, the 37 men whose signature move all the money from the treasury, are at liberty to take all the contents of the treasury and use for whatever purpose, and you cannot hold them to any kind of account, because in section 308 they have express blanket immunity that you cannot question them for what they do in all the years they're in office. So if they do not owe you any obligation in black and white under your constitution, and they have the spare key to the treasury under that constitution, and they have absolute immunity, whether they behead you in the presence of 1,000 people, or they go with bullion van to the central bank or wherever they keep state money to take all of it and go and spread it on the street, you have no recourse against them under that provision. We have been corralled into a feudalist authoritarianism pretending to be a democracy. So what we're doing now, what we've done now, having gone through all the democratic procedures, all through people's participation, people's action, democratic actions, from Pronaco, when we asked the nationalities to come for a meeting and they did come. We had 164 ethnic delegations that turned up. We didn't leave anybody out, including the Fulani. Muhammadu Buhari was part of the Fulani delegation that came to that meeting. Let the media, let the journalists, let those who wish to know the truth find out whether it's not so. AIT covered the event all through. NTA covered. Let all of anybody who wants to know whether we called a meeting of the nationalities to discuss these questions in full between 2005 and 2006 should go to find out, should just Google, should make a research. The nationalities came. Ijo came as Ijo, Yorubas came as Yoruba, Igbo came as Igbo, Fulani came as Fulani. Buhari was part of that Fulani delegation. Sayyid Abubakar, that is Sultan in Sokoto today, was in the army at the time, was part of the Fulani participation. All these issues were put on the table. This union will collapse on our head if we do not go to the table to accept that our union agreements have been destroyed, have been truncated, and that if we do not find answers we generate together, answers to provide themselves when people begin to storm out of the union, like we see happening all over the place now. So in those 90 days, back to the question of what do we do now?
Yes.
In those 90 days, the 5 demands we make, starts with the fact that the federal government, the illicit federal government of today, must acknowledge that there's a union dispute that has been declared by this majority, a sovereignty dispute. They must commit irrevocably to the decommissioning of that constitution, like apartheid, like the apartheid regime did in 1990 with apartheid constitution that excluded the owners of the land from their sovereignty. We have exactly the same situation. In South Africa, it was the Boers that became the owners of the land to the exclusion of the black. Everything that became apartheid constitution, all those ingredients are present in the constitution we have on the table. Minority, white-skinned invader, finding a way to beat down owners of land, becoming owner of land, and owner of every sovereignty against the interests of the owners of the land. What Oliver Tambo, Walter Sisulu, Nelson Mandela, Winnie Mandela, Governor Mbeki and the rest of them had to do to overcome apartheid is what we have to do today, to topple that constitution of 1999, that fraudulent instrument of death. All of us, if we don't, we are submitting ourselves to death, quite apart from the deprivations and hopelessness we have seen before. Going from that, we said there must be, in those 90 days, a clear articulation of a transitioning. And before then, there must be an express announcement to the effect that no further national elections will be anchored on this constitution that have been rejected and repudiated by all. And when I talk about rejection and repudiation, let's go back, if you can get to the map, the other map of the one that is in 4 parts, the one that is in green, purple, blue, and brownish. When we talk about repudiation, we all remember that in year 2000, just 1 year into that constitution, the life of that constitution of 99, the 12 contiguous states of the far north, from Sokoto, that runs from Sokoto through Kano into Borno, 12 contiguous states simultaneously imposing Sharia. Section 10 in defiance of Section 10 of your constitution that forbid that act expressly. Section 10 of your constitution says that neither the federal government nor any state government can adopt a state religion. It is the government of the federation or that of a state shall not adopt any state religion. Full stop. It is that provision, that is the shortest section in your entire constitution, Section 10. And it was crafted in that manner to put it beyond any kind of dispute or doubt, because it is so short and direct to the point that federal or state government shall not adopt state religion. So when 12 contiguous states of the far north simultaneously, the fact that they are simultaneous, the fact that they are contiguous and they acted simultaneously, brings us to the conclusion that they consciously decided to secede from the secular union Nigeria was founded to be, was being built to be. So those 12 states have seceded from our secular union. There's no other way. As a lawyer, I can understand their action. I can interpret their action. Anybody who has any better interpretation should please come forward now, not tomorrow. They seceded from our secular union because it is that provision. When you hear that Nigeria is a secular state, it is that provision that makes Nigeria the secular state it is. So anybody who, in the manner that those 12 states chose to
secede,
violate that section so brazenly, with such impunity, has seceded from the union, from the secular union. So that is the beginning of the repudiation of the 1999 Constitution. They repudiated by their action, because the state assemblies passed the Sharia, the governors signed them and set up Hizbah, set up the enforcement. How am I to separate the intentions of those state governments with that of Boko Haram that came later to enforce it? They are both in pursuit of Sharia.
Yeah.
They both reject democracy. They both reject constitutionalism. Under the Sharia regime, human life no longer sacrosanct. Under that Sharia regime, you can see that you cannot be talking about rule of law or any democracy or constitution. When Boko Haram had time to issue bulletins after their attacks, repeatedly, they did say that what they were fighting for was that they reject, apart from the one we all know about rejection of Western education, they say that they reject democracy, that they reject constitutionalism, that the only constitution they know, the only democracy they know, the only governance system they know is as dictated by Sharia. And so I have difficulty making a distinction between the intentions of Shekau, of Boko Haram, and those of the 12 state governments led by Sani Yerima, who now sits in your Senate. Because as Sani Yerima went about chopping off people's hands in his Zamfara in pursuit of Sharia, Shekau and his band were blowing up people's hands and heads with bombs, all in pursuit of Sharia. Sani Yerima went to Egypt, remember, in year 2012 also, to buy a 13-year-old girl in the name of marriage. And he stood on the Senate, on the floor of your Senate in Abuja, to defend it as something he was entitled to doing, against the stipulations of the law that bring all of us together. The law that sets the minimum age for consent. So these are all actions that boiled down to secession of these 12, contiguous states. At the time, we were already history. The Constitution they imposed on us by brigandage, having overthrown the constitutions that brought us together as a federal union. And so we go from there to what the other people began to do, because it was after they had done that we now called as concerned stakeholders from all across the country. We now convened that meeting of all to say, look, let's not go this way. Let's not begin with everybody going to get a gun. Let's go to a meeting to examine the state of our union. That was what became PRONACO. And for 2 years, we had this nationality delegations deliberating on two questions. Are we to remain in this union? Most of the delegation said yes, but everybody had their own conditions for wanting to remain in the union. And at the end of the day, we had a draft constitution, draft people's constitution emerging from that. We sat in Lagos, we sat in Port Harcourt, we sat in Enugu, we went to Jos, we went to Kano, we came back to Lagos to conclude. All the groups that were angry, sufficiently angry at the time to carry arms against the state of Nigeria. The Niger Delta Volunteer Force of Asari, the OPC of Gani Adams, the MASOB of the time that was saying it is Biafra or nothing. We persuaded all of them at great risk to ourselves to please put their guns aside and come for a meeting with the rest of the union. And they honored us by coming, putting their guns aside. Nobody fired one shot in agitation in the period we were doing all of this. But the government of the day, instead of coming to join in this task of redeeming, of salvating the union, the federation that collapsed a long time ago, people were just enduring it out of goodwill, out of having mixed up. And so it was after we had done all of that, it was in fact a delegate from Katsina that moved the motion for the adoption of the draft constitution from that PRONACO process that would have taken us back to what we lost in Aburi. Everybody's shouting Aburi now. Everybody's shouting regional autonomy now. Everybody now wants to have guns to protect their assets in their regions. But that draft constitution that came from PRONACO in 2006 had provisions that could have taken us fully back to being a federation in which the federating units will have the guns in their area under their command and control. Cooperating at the center. Let those who wish go and find out the summary of what we did in that PRONACO. A draft that restored everybody back to their sovereignty, back to their autonomy, back to their assets, and back to the right to armed self-defense, as we were to cooperate as a union, like we have the United Kingdom. Is there any British soldier that goes about with gun in Scotland?
No.
Or any Welsh policeman that come to molest people in London with gun?
No.
But that's what the British want for us here. Now they've left the European Union, but they say we can't discuss the terms of our union. How much more anybody suggesting leaving? And if you make the union impossible, if it becomes a union of death, if it becomes a union of attrition, if it becomes a union of backwardness like we have seen it, discussing 5,000 megawatts of electricity for 200 million people, sitting in Abuja, you lock down the capacity for electricity generation and transmission with the exclusive list. That's where your electricity went. Nothing will change as long as electricity transmission and generation and transmission remain the exclusive business of the federal government of Nigeria under this 1999 constitution. No electricity will improve. Let those who know where to find Fashola tell him that I say so. Tell him that we say so. As it is with electricity, we are discussing 50% tariff increase in just now, unless the generation is freed, unless that constitution is taken down, so that those who need electricity, who have the capacity and the wherewithal to generate electricity for themselves, can go generating electricity. we will continue to revolve around this endless search for electricity. As it is with electricity, so it is with petroleum products. Refineries are locked down by that exclusive list. If that is removed today, if we remove refining from that exclusive list, it will not take 1 year for the states or whoever has the capacity to build refineries all over the place, take the crude we already have, process it, and there will be availability at minimal costs. But that capacity to process petroleum products have been locked down by your constitution. And so every day we turn to everywhere else. But Nigeria, with 4 refineries that are now comatose, and we're being told by this same president that we'll be buying petroleum products from Niger Republic. Pipelines are being built to take gas and crude to where refinery will work. What is there in refining that cannot be done undertaken by the federating unit? What capacity that's extraordinary does Dangote have to be the one licensed exclusively to build the refinery that will service all of us? Whereas you lock down that possibility with your constitution and your exclusive list. It will not stand. As it is for electricity and petroleum products, so it is with your security. The reason your lives are under threat everywhere is that arms and ammunition and police are on that exclusive list. It's never going to change unless that constitution goes down. Anybody who doesn't understand that is likely to pay in blood. Oh, go and give us, go and train, buy more gun for police. And you see some lunatics sitting in Abuja talking about how much more money to put at security, when they have not defined what the problem is. The problem is not buying gun for police. The problem is that in a federation, the question of security, the question of policing should be the business of those who have to secure themselves, of those who have to police themselves. Not for one set of people to sit in faraway place and assume a unified command. How do you know who steals goat in Ogbomoso? The IG sitting in Abuja. So 68 such items.
That they are preventing anything moving forward.
Infrastructure, the highways. None of your governors can construct the road from his capital to the next state capital. That's what happened to the Enugu-Port Harcourt road. That's what happened to the Onitsha-Enugu road. That's what happened to all the federal highways we see. So if security is compromised so fundamentally, and infrastructure is compromised so fundamentally, and all the things that could make life livable and bearable are so compromised, then we begin to wonder how Nigeria became the poverty capital of the world, with millions of young people who have nowhere else to go. They even try to run away from the Nigeria. Everywhere they go, they are being killed. Some of them don't get to their destinations. They get there, they are slaves. We travel around the world and we see Nigerians who are running from their country. Their organs are now being sold. Regular market for human organs is being fed by Nigeria that is ejecting its own young people from everywhere. And so what we have done in those 5 demands is to say we must now accept we can proceed on this. We must come to table in these 90 days with a clear time-bound plan for discussing the replacements together. But if after that 90 days that is not already happening, then those who are the receiving end of these atrocious constitutional arrangements will have no option but to begin to save their lives. And their first line of engagement will be with their own people who are sitting in Abuja, swearing to defend and uphold that constitution that dispenses death to their own people. So this quarrel is not with people in government house now as president and governor. No, the quarrel is now with those, all of those from this part, all of those from the middle belt who are senators and house members sitting in Abuja to defend and uphold, swearing to defend and uphold a constitution that make it impossible for their people to defend themselves. They are the ones whom will be the first line of engagement with those who are being shot at in the middle belt. So let them have it clearly that they are the ones sustaining the life of that constitution, because we have to tell ourselves, we now know that all our miseries are flowing from that constitution. Whether it is the killings or the seizure of assets or the infrastructure or the quota system that enthrones mediocrity over excellence, that excludes you from opportunities. All of those things are flowing from that constitution. That is one item. Nobody can dispute that. Second, the life of that constitution is renewed once every 4 years by elections. That's the only way. Once every 4 years, elections happen, and the life of that constitution is renewed for another 4 years. That's second item. The third item we must bear in mind in getting ready for the action that has to serve us. The third item is that only political parties contest elections. We saw it clearly, we heard it clearly from the Supreme Court in Amechi's case. It's not the candidate, only political parties contest those elections. Indisputable. Fourth item, all political parties in Nigeria subscribe to that constitution. Because anyhow they do, all they are doing is to try to win election. And when they win election, they have to swear to govern by that constitution. So that's the fourth item. The fifth item, whoever wins any election in Nigeria will have to govern by that constitution, swear to and govern by that constitution. If you put the five together, that your misery flow from here, that the life of that constitution is renewed only by election, that only political parties contest the elections in question, that all of the political parties subscribe to that constitution, and that any winner of any election will have to swear to and govern by that constitution. When you put the five together, you now come to one inescapable conclusion, that the way to save ourselves from this union of death is to insist at this time that the life of this constitution cannot be renewed one more time. Because those who go to contest the election and become governors and senators, they are doing so in your name, but not on your behalf. The governors are there, going there for the billions they get every month in allocation, which they are not accountable to you for. All these tall buildings in Ikoyi, go find out who built them. Governors in office. We've seen what happened in Lagos. Now, you again come to the question of if they have been having elections since 1999. There was one in 99, 2003, 2007, 2011, 15, 19. Now they're advertising 2023.
Okay, the internet just get interrupted there, but that shouldn't be a problem. We will have Mr. T back within the next few seconds. There's been provision for that, and we know that might happen, but it's back.
Yeah, we're here.
Okay.
We're back.
Thank you.
Now, this constitution is the guarantee for your misery, and simultaneously the guarantee for the affluence of the politicians we complain about every day. What is the wisdom in going to join them to renew the life of that constitution in 2023 by way of another election? Our task now today is to turn around to those political parties, since they are all equally complicit in renewing the life of this constitution of death against the rest of us, because they want to go and make personal profits.
Yeah.
Our task now is to tell them that they must close shop in all our street corners. Political party, please. The end point, the end game for you is to win election. And when that election is won, you swear, you govern by the constitution that injures, that exposes us to death and backwardness. You will not be allowed to go in our name one more time to go and renew that instrument in 2023. Our task in the first quarter of this 2021, our task inside these 90 days, there's no reason why we cannot perform that task. If we understand these things, if anybody has an alternative explanation for these things we have explained, let that person come now. Whether it is APT or PDP or ABGA or even the youth that have been invited to come and join youth party, and how will that joining of youth party or winning the election as youth party alter these things we are talking about? How will it alter the federation that have been turned into a unitary state? How will it alter the 36 states that make you a minority, wherever if you come from the wrong part? How will it alter the 68 item exclusive list? It is not about, and the INEC that will process that election already has determined. You can see the people who are heading it. You can see that it is in Abuja, completely under the control of people who, some of them, the nephew of your president is inside INEC calling the shots in Abuja against you everywhere you are. So they just decide who amongst you will be allowed to govern you. Who amongst you? You saw what happened in Imo State. The Imo people had the election, elected somebody, swore him in. He was already working. Months down the road, one herdsman sits in Abuja in the name of Supreme Court, throws him out and brings in the man who came fourth in the election. And he's sitting there. They say Supreme Court. That's the kind of union we have found ourselves in, as it is for Imo. So was it in several locations. They won't even allow anybody who will challenge them to emerge. They will process the person out of the way. So it's only the renegades they have processed to their own satisfaction. The renegades with heavy skeletons in their cupboard, those are the ones that are promoted by this system to become your governors and senators. That's their qualification. All of those who may be thinking of the welfare of the people are screened out, knocked out at various stages. Even if they win, they are thrown out. And so, please, our people, it is within our reach in these 90 days to roll up our sleeves. First, let us acquaint ourselves with information so that we can have knowledge. The documents of the foundations of Nigeria, which we had to get from British archives, we saw 3 items there that were shocking. They said in the Nigerian system they had created that 3 things are required to run it well and make it to make it function for them. The first item is ignorance. The successful operation of the Nigerian system they created required ignorance, required fear, required military terrorism. I'm telling you things in black and white, written down before 1914 by those who created this union as the principles upon which they will anchor what they were building. And so the quota system you have now didn't start yesterday. It started way before the 1914 came. They already created structures that got processed into constitutional instruments. From that 14 to 1922 to 46, there was always a provision for how the worst, the most incompetent amongst us will take charge of all the controlling heights of our national life. And when you see ignorance, it is the ignorance that breeds the fear. Between the two, the military terrorism is where the government itself is the terror. That's what those instruments mean. That's what that document means. And Abacha confirmed it for us when he said that if the kind of thing happening now were to happen for this number of days and it is not contained, the government must have a hand in it. Abacha confirmed that to us. And so The answer to ignorance is knowledge. All of what you need to know to free yourself from this bondage imposed on you by your ignorance is on the table right now. And once you get that knowledge, fear leaves you, because you can tell anybody who is coming to say, hey, stop there. And once you are free from ignorance and freed from fear, nobody can molest you in the name of government anymore, because you will now bring them to the servants they are. You will retrieve your sovereignty and make a constitution that will define what they can do, set the boundaries. The one they have now, they set the boundaries by themselves. So they removed all your own benefits and loaded their own benefits. They removed all your rights and added unlimited rights to themselves, to steal from you in a manner that also tie your hands from challenging them. Even if they kill you, that's why we're where we are. Unless we make up our mind to take out the oxygen that gives life to that constitution. We are not talking about boycott now. Let us get it very clearly. We are not talking about boycott that will happen in 2023. We are saying that the action we need to take now against election is to stop the political parties from even starting any process that might lead to election. Let them close shop. That's why we say close shop. Boycott is already too late. Under this dubious constitution, all they need to have a valid national election that will produce a president is 24 states, elections happening in 24 states. And there's no lower limit of participation to validate elections. So even if it's only 10,000 people that come out in a state of 5 million people, you are boycotting. They will ignore you. Because under the law, once a candidate has, 2/3 of the votes cast in 24 states and federal capital territory, he becomes your president. It doesn't matter how right or wrong. For the civil society people that go about talking about a free and fair election under a constitution of master and servant, I wonder the kind of education they had. I wonder the kind of human beings they are. You have a constitution that guarantees an outcome after all of the election, and you are here talking about free and fair election.
No way.
Very proudly. I'm ashamed of the civil society community in Nigeria. Very much ashamed of them. The lawyers in Nigeria. These issues were raising are in black and white in that constitution. And what has the bar association of Nigeria said or done? Nothing. They want to be senior advocates. They want to make billion by going to settle electoral dispute. Let the young people whose lives have been mortgaged, whose future have been sold, whose present are tormented, let them ask those lawyers. Everywhere you see them, ask them these specifics. Ask them what they have done, what they are doing.
Wow.
Ask them why they hang on to that constitution. Now there's epidemic. We look towards the medical people, the pharmaceutical people, the doctors in the land. We look towards them for solution for medical epidemic. Now we have something worse than medical epidemic, because poverty will now open you up for health challenge, for security challenge, all kinds of things that come with it. The lawyers in the land are pretending they do not know that this constitution is the source of all the problems. I want us to challenge them wherever we see them, wherever they turn up. The civil society people, the lawyers, the church leaders, the flock, the people that come to cry to you every day are crying that their lives have been ruined. And you have an opportunity, the type that Desmond Tutu had in South Africa, to stand with those who are working to take down the apartheid constitution that ruined the lives of their people. What are the church leaders in Nigeria doing? What are our big men of God doing? Even the small one. We went to them. We pleaded with them, without exception. In the coming days, when we begin to bring out what transpired between us and all these people pretending to be on our side of this discussion, including some of our own politicians, including some of those in the Senate, we told them They are more interested in what they make for themselves. They're inviting you now to come and join in the renewal of your enslavement in 2023 in the name of election that will now give you presidency. For the ones from Eastern Nigeria, oh, come and take Igbo presidency. We are sorry for them, because in the coming days, it won't be a matter of waiting for anybody. We will take it out personally against all of those who are sabotaging, who are not on our side of how we can end this constitution that makes us slaves in our land. As it is for the East, I believe it is so for the West. I do not think that Yoruba people will want to go, and Obasanjo was president for 8 years. Did it return the autonomy of Yoruba land to Yoruba land? No. Did he return the assets of Lagos being detained by Nigeria? No. Has it improved the security of Yoruba people now? As it is for Obasanjo and his presidency, so it is for Jonathan and his presidency. Did Jonathan's presidency of 6 years return the oil and gas assets of Niger Delta? Will anybody's presidency vanish the 36 states?
No.
That make you now a hopeless minority?
No.
These are the issues. Anybody who is pointing you towards the National Assembly, let it be said loud and clear that the legislative mandate of National Assembly does not extend to constitution making. In sitting in Abuja and telling us to bring our complaints to them, they are committing treason. They are aiding and abetting the original treason initiated by Absalom Abaka in 1999 when he put our signature on a document we did not make. And it became the basis of the union of death we have been trapped in. All of those who swear to defend and uphold that constitution are aiding and abetting, are facilitating that treason of hijacking our sovereignty, which the soldiers initiated. It must come to an end. It is not by boycott in 2023, it is by telling the political parties to close shop in this first quarter. Inside these 90 days, there's no reason why we can't tell the political parties to please close shop, even if temporarily, until we resolve the matter of the constitution by which we'll be governed. That's the action. Let the materials we have, the 5-point demand, these 5 points of logic that now compare that action, that now validate, that now justify the action of asking the political parties to close shop, to stop for now. Don't tell us it is our turn. Don't tell us you do better than the other person. No. That constitution will govern. That constitution will determine what happens when the elections are over. Unless we want to sacrifice our lives, unless we want to sacrifice our future and the future of the unborn in our homeland, anybody who is still discussing going to election in 2023 is the enemy you must find a way to do away with. Anybody from southern and middle belt of Nigeria still discussing how to go to election in 2020. We're not talking about state and these off-season elections that happen in summer. No, we're talking about the general election of 2023. We must, in the first quarter, we must between that now and March, beginning of March in 2021, be able to tell the political parties emphatically, with every might we have, that they can't continue to drag us to the renewal of the life of the constitution that makes us slaves in our land. If we refuse to undertake that fight, we are therefore inviting another kind of fight. The Fulani will drag us to another election, even if they make one of you president. The structure that guarantees our damnation will remain in place. The Fulani that came from all over Africa who are already here will turn up at your doorstep. You remember in the video, the last comment, the closing remark is that they will turn up at your doorstep with their AK-47 just because you refuse to act. If we take this action now, it will be so far so bad, or so far so good, in terms of what has happened in the past. If we refuse to take this action, and we continue to argue ignorantly and blindly, we are only inviting another kind of fight. We either go to stop the political parties who are in our neighborhoods. You don't have to go to Abuja for them. They are your brothers and sisters waving one party flag or the other. Ask them where they're going with all of it, other than to renew your life, your misery in 2023. Stop them. You are in a position to stop them. Yeah. If you do not want to stop them, they will validate another round of bondage for you. And the people who are here to take your land will get to you. It's only a question of time for them to come to where you are. It doesn't matter the business you are doing or how much money you have. It is within our reach to stop this madness that has lasted 200 years already.
Thank you very much.
That video, the full edition of that video, we can find on YouTube under the title Unraveling the Foundations of the Caliphate Prison. That is the title on YouTube to see the full video, apart from the portion that was played on Heritage TV. You either go to Heritage TV site or YouTube or Facebook, but if you go straight to YouTube and search with the title Unraveling the Caliphate Foundations of Nigeria, many of our people are asking where to find that video. It is on YouTube. It's been on YouTube since January of 2019. If 2%, even 1% of this population of 200 million people, those who can understand what is said in that video, if we can get that video to reach 1%, there's no reason why the churches in Nigeria cannot play that video in the auditorium. There are churches that have done that outside Nigeria for Nigerian audiences. There's no reason why anybody who is suffering in Nigeria should not be made to see that video, to see where the problem is coming from, so that they can know how to solve the problem. We challenge the churches. We challenge the churches instead of coming to lament. Clear the ignorance of the people and get them to the kind of things that will save them from the kind of things coming at them. Not to ask them, not to shield their tormentors from them and pour olive oil on the heads of their tormentors.
Wow. And
tell them to go and get PVC. It's not PVC. If you are still discussing PVC, when your opponent in that same contest is doing AK-47, you are going to learn the hard way.
True.
I think we can go from here.
Great. Mr. T, thank you very much for that very, very inspiring speech. The only thing I want to say to our people is that if you don't know, you don't know. If you know, then there's a way out. You have to do your part. Mr. Tony has been doing his part. I have to do my part. Your part is to look for this information. Use it to your advantage. Don't wait until I say, oh, I did. You know how you people behave? I didn't know. I knew. I would have done something about it. Because you don't want to know. There's so much now going about so that you can learn from it. We don't want to make this one too very long. So what is going to happen is that the video Mr. Tony is talking about is going to get loaded again, fresh, premiered. I'm going to actually premiere it so that it can be new, just that video. And we can work from there. There's so many things we need to do. And what are the things we need to do? We need to do it right. One of the things is pass the information around. Let more people know, aware of the situations. Assimilate what is there. Acquaintance yourself to this information so that you can explain to others who doesn't know. And that will make it easy for you. Tonight at 5 o'clock, we'll be speaking to the lady of the sex party issue in Kaduna. It wasn't a sex party, it was political rivalry. The Governor El Rufai wanted to get to a political opponent who is a PDP man. That was the issue. And at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock UK time, we will be looking at the government that is running out of money fast, and nobody wants to give them money. So they want to go into your bank account, they want to go into your shares, and anything that's been sitting down there for some time that you haven't touched because you're saving the money, they want to go and take it and spend it. And when they spend it, when will they return it back to you? They're broke. If they don't find this money within the next 2 months or 3 months, they won't be able to pay the salary of their staff. And you know what happened? Anarchy will set in. Before anarchy set in, you need to prepare your mind. You need to start arranging security for yourself. Because when anarchy set in, everybody will start taking government property in. If the government cannot meet its obligation, they haven't been able to meet so many of their obligations for so long, and they've been living a fake life by borrowing money that they don't need, that they can't afford to pay. How can a government not? A government that cannot look after its own people wants to bring everybody else from another region just to come on rampage. I want to thank Mr. Tony Nandi this morning because it's been a life-saving experience on this lecture today. Mr. Tony, thank you very much for the show today, sir.
Thank you very much, and thank the viewers too.
Yeah, thank the viewers too. And before you go, on Friday, the 15th of January, there's a program called Yoruba and Igbo Conference, being organized by Father's Land. I'm going to try and make sure they put Tony there because they cannot leave Tony out of this conference, because it is very important for you to know. If you don't know, you don't know. If you know, it will make your life easy, and that is the only thing you could do. Make your life easy. Make your life easy. Make your life easy. Make your life easy. That is the conference. It's at 5 o'clock UK time. Is to share experience, to look at some few things that we need to know. And when we have this conference, it might actually put everybody in power position. It might properly reconcile so many issues that we have among ourselves, because some issue doesn't need to wrangle on, but we let it wrangle on unnecessarily. So I want to thank everybody who's been watching today. We need dates to start this journey of no return for the Fulani. Our traditional law are phased out phase two politicians. Let's save millions of lives from Fulani jihadists that is ruling us by fire, by force. And share this information, share the broadcast, recommend people to go to freedomfromnigeria.com. You can read more about what is going on. Sign the petition. The petition is very important. I don't know why our people are going to say, I don't know. Why are you waiting for I don't know business later on? 6,090. That's ridiculous. Can we get the figure going up this morning? If you have not signed the petition is there for you to take this morning. Please sign it now. The last time someone signed it was about 3 hours ago? That's nonsense. This petition needs to be signed every 5 minutes. Someone new needs to know about this petition every 5 minutes. 2 hours ago, 53 minutes ago, 16 minutes ago, 22 minutes ago. That makes a little bit of sense. 16 and 22. That's about 6 minutes. Please, guys, sign the petition. If you have not signed the petition, this is a golden opportunity for you to sign it. If you have signed it, this is a very golden opportunity for you to share it. Copy the link, paste it, share. Annoy some people with this petition. Put it everywhere on your WhatsApp. The petition is not what we're running for. We're not gunning for the petition. No. Taking more steps. Petition is just a secondary issue. Things are happening already. If you listen to Tony, he talks about the hearing in New York currently going on in America, about what is going on in Nigeria. So these practical solutions, things will happen. Please listen, gentlemen. If you have not signed that petition, I'm imploring you now to please do me a favor and sign it. Sign it. The last person that signed it was Dele Fatoki and Kendi Elegbega. Those are the last two people that signed it. And can I remind you of something? If you sign the petition, please, after signing, you need to go to your email address to validate it. If you don't validate it, it's useless. Thank you, Olabode James, for that. Thank you, Bayode Bosse, for that. Those are the new people that have just signed in when we start talking. But we need more people. 6,167 currently. We need to get to 7,500 so that we can start the next campaign. Please, guys, let's do the needful. Don't say, I've signed a petition before. Don't say you're waiting for other petition. More petition will come out, but it doesn't matter. Sign every petition. Don't be ignorant of the solution. Don't be a fool to this solution. You know what Baba Mogaji Goigadejima said yesterday? He said it doesn't matter how you get there, just get there. It doesn't matter which way could take you there, as long as we get our Yoruba nation. He said, let a man find a snake and let a woman kill the snake. It doesn't matter as long as the snake is dead. I want to commend everybody who's been on the program since the beginning. I'm having so much regular now. So much regular that my joy is becoming full. And I want to thank Tony once more for this unraveling the biggest problem in the whole world that has been going on. What I'm going to do, as soon as we finish this program, I'm going to actually replay that video on its own, so that people can actually have that one instead of going. You can pick what you need to pick from there easily. It's only about 40-something minutes. And I hope you enjoy your day. Enjoy the rest of the day. Until later on, well, Kelvin, thank you. Kelvin, thank you for signing. I've seen your name. You just signed a petition as well. You see, I can actually see things beyond my nose just because of technology. I want to thank every one of you. If I have not mentioned your name today on the show, it's because I'm so sucking into this discussion. Cessation, coming out of it. It's going to lead to coming out. We're not negotiating anything. We're not begging for anything. This is not it can guarantee our freedom. Don't say it can guarantee our freedom. Don't say petition can guarantee. Petition can guarantee your freedom if you do it right. If you do it with the right atmosphere, with the right supporting things, it can guarantee it. Anything can work. Everything can work. Everything has to come together to make it work. Okay, I'm gonna post the link to that petition. You're asking for it. I'm gonna post it again. It was pinned earlier on, but let me just post it again so that I can see who is signing and then actually acknowledge them and thank them for signing it, because I want to start thanking people for signing that petition. Yes, it might not look big, but it's a big deal to me that the petition gets signed. The petition must be signed right and left and center. Please share with your family and friend as well. The petition is linked on, is pinned on YouTube, on Facebook. Now it's been pinned on WhatsApp. It might take you some few minutes to get it. All right. Okay, it's been pinned now. I would like to kill all the snake with. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, do more than that. Do everything that's possible. Do everything that's possible to kill the snake. Yeah, and this snake needs to be killed anyway, because it's been biting all the unnecessary people in our land. Let me tell you one thing. It is very important that you like the channel you're watching this video from. It is not an heritage program. It is our people's program. The petition is actually at the bottom. Even the petition is right at the bottom of this broadcast. It's been pinned there, and if you look at the comment section, right at the bottom is pinned there. Please, I need to get this petition to a good number this morning before I move on. I'm going to let Mr. Tony go because he will please my people beginning to sign the petition. Thank you, Mr. Ayene. Thank you for begging them. Well, sometimes we don't need to actually beg them. People just see this as something that they need to do themselves. You have to play your part. I have to play my part. Everybody has to play my part. I'm playing my part now. More part that you need to play is to share this broadcast, is to talk to your people, talk to more people. Even if you don't share the petition, if you don't share this broadcast, tell them what is going on. Tell them about the force majeure. Educate yourself with the force majeure. See what is going on in there. Educate yourself with keep this way with all the necessary facts, and use it to your advantage. Some people are using the AK-47 to their advantage. Use this one to your advantage as well, and let's get out of this bloody mess that we put ourselves unknowingly inside. I think when they were doing all this, we closed our eyes stupidly and we didn't. Some people are saying we're too nice. Yes, we're too nice. We're nice people because we don't want to lose our people. One person that lost their life is too much. We don't want that. But if you don't do it now, can I tell you one thing? AK-47 is going to turn out at your doorstep. And they're going to say, bring everybody out. Bring everybody out. And they will kill people right and there. And nothing will happen. So before we get to that stage, let's work out the modalities of getting ourselves out. Meet me again. Immediately after this program, I will play the full version of that video back for you so that you can have it just on its own. Then at 5 o'clock, you're going to meet me with a lady at the sex party in Cardinal. And then at 8 o'clock, we're going to be talking about this government that wants to lay their hand on your money. Please like the program. A very big thank you. A very big thank you to Tony. A very big thank you to all the regulars and the new faces. Why can we get it? Yeah, I've just put it. Thank you for coming for the first time. Make sure you like the page. Subscribe to the page as well. Subscribe to it so that every time something like this is happening, you will get notification. Until later on today when I come your way again, I remain loyal to Yoruba land, to the southern people of Nigeria, to all the people who want freedom and want to get out of this contraction. Happy New Year again. God bless you. See you soon again. Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, national anthem of the newly formed Ududuwa Nation.
Nigeria jaga jaga, everything scatter scatter. Come on, they suffer.
Anyone who knows not where the rain starts to beat him will never know where it stopped. The Nigeria 1999 Constitution is the poison pill killing Nigerians every day, bit by bit. Because inside this Nigeria 1999 Constitution, there are 68 federal exclusive items holding the key to our development and progress in Nigeria. And the Fulani-led federal government has deliberately denied Nigerians progress via the power of that 1999 Constitution. For instance, in the 68 items on that exclusive list, the federal government holds the exclusive right to provide the people with quality electricity, water, good roads, good health care, and schools. But in all of this, I'm sure you'll agree with me that the federal government has woefully failed us. Taking down that evil book of Lucifer is the key to our development and progress. It is either we turn off the tap from which the polluted water of bad governance runs, or we continue to mope in silence forever. Taking down the 1999 Constitution is a task that must be done. So come on, join hands now with the Alliance Partners for the Movement of a New Nigeria, MNN, to kill the Nigerian 1999 Constitution.
Nigeria jaga jaga, everything scatter scatter. Come on, they suffer. Bossa bossa.
This message is brought to you by the Voice of Liberty International.
Why you must go? Why you must go?
Heritage TV. La 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 la. Heritage TV.
Everybody in London, have you heard that Heritage Television has come up with something new? All your functions and celebrations can now be multi-camera live stream. That was only reserved for the rich and famous. Having a function in London can be viewed clean and clear immediately from any part of the world. Trust Heritage TV to give you a better reach. Heritage Television also does photography that will make you the envy of all your friends and family. Heritage Television is the best. All your functions like birthdays, funerals, weddings, church anniversaries or harvest. Heritage Television is the master. We are in the heart of London with an ultra-modern equipped studio. You can call us on 020-800-46100 or email us info@heritagetv.co.uk or mobile 0734 1234 560. Heritage Television will do you proud.